I sold my deer hunting saddle the other day, and in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why I made that decision. I am primarily a run and gun deer hunter, meaning I have a stand or a saddle, I go into the woods, I set up on public land in a mobile fashion, and then I go back to my vehicle with all my belongings at the end of the day, and I go to a new place every single time I hunt. A few years ago, I was really struggling, so I did a lot of research, hours and hours of planning and scouting in the off season, and I found that mobile hunting is the best way to hunt. The best hunters in the world are mobile. And around that time, I was using a climber, which worked well as far as getting to certain places, but I ended up looking for trees more than I ended up looking for deer. And it just so happened that around that time, saddle hunting was blowing up. Now, I did not choose to become a saddle hunter because a lot of people were doing it. I chose to become a saddle hunter because of mobility, obviously, lightweight, all of those things. But I mainly chose it because there were so many more options of saddles to purchase than there were years prior. Many years ago, there weren't a lot of saddle companies out there, and most people never even heard about deer hunting in a saddle. But since it was becoming more popular, there were several companies that I could kind of compare and contrast. I could read reviews, and I ended up going with the Tethered Phantom literally like a week after it came out. I purchased that thing right away. And after I got it, I really liked it. I liked hunting out of it. I have no complaints about the saddle whatsoever. Let me be really clear about something. I am not comparing stand hunting with saddle hunting. To me, it doesn't really matter. As a matter of fact, I have a video kind of about that, not comparing, but just giving you ideas in case you're wondering if you should buy a saddle or a stand. That video is going to help you because I talk about the struggles I have with each and the pros and the cons of each and the good things about each and all of that stuff. This video is just me explaining why I decided to sell my saddle and focus only on using a stand when it comes to deer hunting. The reason I sold my saddle is because I want to be really good with one consistent setup. If I divide my time half the time in a saddle, half the time in a stand, you have to shoot your bow differently depending on if you're in a stand or a saddle. I wanted to be really good shooting my bow, going up and down the tree, being quiet walking into the woods, being really good in the dark, especially on those morning sits, with one setup. The more you know your gear, the better you're going to be as a deer hunter because the more efficient you are, the quieter you are, and the less mistakes you're going to make with that simple setup. Think about it. If you divide your time doing one thing and then doing another thing, you're not going to be as good as if you just had all of your time focused on one thing. So for me personally, if I have to choose between a saddle or a hang-on stand, you might be asking, why don't you just use a saddle and sell your hang-on stands? Well, the reason for that is because I have trouble staying warm in my saddle when it comes to late season. Here in Wisconsin, we've got some brutal late season winters where we've got 2 feet of snow, it's 5 degrees out, blowing winds, and I've got big thick bibs on, huge big winter boots, a great big 4-way parka that I'm wearing. And when you're in a saddle, that's really uncomfortable to have all that gear on a little ring of steps or a platform with those big boots. It just doesn't work for me. Not to mention my feet get really cold when I wear a saddle. And when I'm on a stand, my feet don't really get as cold. So if I'm going to have a consistent setup from opening day all the way to the last day of archery season, it's important for me to have something that works the early season, mid-season around the rut, and late season. Let me be clear about something. Me and this entire channel, I do not represent saddle hunting at all, even though I do have a lot of saddle hunting videos. I hope you can look past the gear and look at a person who just loves public land, pressured whitetail deer hunting. That could mean somebody's sitting on a bucket. I think that'd be pretty cool. Kill a big buck sitting on a bucket because it's mobile. That could be still hunting, stalking, setting up in a hang-on stand, sitting on the ground on a boat cushion or something, or in a saddle. It doesn't matter. I love mobile hunting, public land, on pressured properties and figuring things out, letting other people on that land kind of push deer towards you. I just think there's so much strategy and creativity that comes with that. That's what I represent as a hunter, and I hope I come across that way on my channel. And so I have no problem as long as you're legal, as long as you're mobile, and on public land. I think that's a wonderful way to pursue whitetail deer and a very big challenge for most people. So the one problem I do have with saddle hunters, and this probably isn't you, is that saddle hunters often divide stand hunters and saddle hunters. Even though you're hunting the exact same way, you're still mobile, you're still lightweight, you're normally on public land, hunting pressured whitetail deer, it's still difficult, but for some reason, It seems the things I've read online and the videos I've seen, a lot of saddle hunters put down people who hunt in stands. And sometimes it goes the other way too, but not always. I think that absolutely needs to stop. It does nothing for the sport of hunting. The last thing we need right now in this world is more division between people. And I think as long as you're a mobile hunter on public land, you're doing the right thing, as long as you stay legal, of course. And the other thing that needs to stop, in my opinion, are people who hunt out of saddles that believe that's the only way you can kill a mature buck on high-pressured public land. That's nonsense. I know people who kill deer consistently almost every year on pressured public land from hang-on stands. And when I'm talking about stands in this video, I'm talking about a lightweight hang-on stand, not a climber, not a ladder stand, a lightweight hang-on stand where you hang and hunt and you go to a different place the next time you choose to hunt. So like I said, I sold my saddle because I want to be efficient all of the different seasons within the deer season, early, mid, and late. And I want to be efficient and quiet and really good with one setup. So that's why I went with my hang-on stand that I'm currently using at the moment. Hunters, in my opinion, instead of focusing on what gear everybody's using, should focus more on tactics like finding and locating deer, hunting at the right times of the year, food sources, understanding bedding and cover and hill country and flat land and water and how deer associate with all of that stuff. That's what deer hunters should be talking about, not that person has a saddle, what's going on with them, or that person hunts out of a deer stand. Wow, that was like totally 10 years ago. That's ridiculous. So I would love to see that more. That's one of the reasons why I created this channel, is to help people become more efficient and better deer hunters, not better gearheads talking about which gear works better, because I don't really think that's important. So I always try to remember, and maybe you do this as well, it's the hunter that kills the deer. It is not the saddle. It is not the stand. It's you and your skill. That's what gets the job done at the end of the day. If you'd like to learn more about finding deer like right away, click this video right here. I promise it's going to help if you have not seen it. I've got tons of videos down in the description below that help you find and locate deer depending on the different terrains and the time of the year. And don't forget to subscribe over here. I'll see you next time.